the record in the Bradfields matter. Call your next witness for the record.
Bruce Elsie, on behalf of the people.
Okay, very good. Call your next witness.
Thank you, Judge.
Next witness, come on now. Raise your right hand. You sign swear firm testimony about giving the matter truth, true nothing, true self you got. Please be seated. State your name for the record.
Sarah Krumm.
Okay, now you have to turn toward the judges of the facts and hear the movies. That's them.
Towards the jury.
I'm the judges of the law. Sit back, like get the movies. Sit back, no, like this.
I go to the movies with their pleasure.
Okay, well, we old school. Okay, very good. You good? State your name for the record, ma'am.
Sarah Krumm.
Spelling first and last.
SARAHKRUMM.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Your occupation, Ms. Krumm?
I'm a paramedic.
How long you been a paramedic for?
A little over 4.5 years.
What sort of training do you have for that? Certifications? Do you have a certification?
Oh,
I
yeah.
do, yes.
Stipulation for
Counsel, would you stipulate that she's certified in the area of
paramedic?
paramedic services? Well, what we do need to know, what you do as a paramedic? You're a little doctor, but you don't have no license.
I'm licensed by the state of Michigan.
I mean, but you don't have like a doctor's license.
No.
Okay, what do you do? What's a paramedic do?
Pre-hospital care.
Pre-hospital care, like what?
We basically handle any medical emergency before you get to the hospital.
Okay, very good. And you have some form of training?
Correct.
You do a paramedic class?
Correct.
And how long is that?
It's about 18 months total.
Okay, and you completed that?
I did.
How long have you been a paramedic so far?
I've been licensed since January 2014.
Okay, very good. You may proceed. I'm more than satisfied.
Thank you, Judge. Did you respond to a call on January 1st, 2018 at 84 Green Meadow in Sumter Township?
I did.
Did I say 17?
Pull that microphone.
2018.
I know. Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
January 1st, 2018, my apologies. Did you respond on that call?
I did.
And do you remember the nature of that call?
It was a cardiac arrest.
And the description of the patient?
A 4-year-old female.
Okay, did you later learn that that 4-year-old's name was Gabrielle Barrett?
I did.
Alright. David, did you respond with a partner?
I did.
His name?
Shane Flynn.
Now, Mr. Flynn testified quite a bit about what you did, so I'm going to not repeat ourselves on that sort of thing. Did you have the opportunity to observe what your patient looked like?
I did.
Okay, and what observations did you make about your patient?
Well, first of all, I did notice that she had extensive burns, but she was also very pale, cyanotic.
When you say pale and cyanotic, what do you mean by that?
Pale in color and cyanotic is bluish coloration of the skin.
And what's the usual cause of that?
It's related to poor perfusion, circulation, meaning usually indicative that the person's not breathing.
And did you perform some care on Ms. Barrett?
I did.
And was any of the assistance that you rendered her for not breathing, was any of that successful?
I did successfully intubate her, which means
I
putting...
mean, did she start breathing or she...
Oh, no.
Do me a favor. I need you to do me a favor. The words that you use, I want you to explain to the judges of the facts as well as me.
Okay.
After you say them, what they mean, so that
Okay.
we can get a better understanding. Turn around. You see, turn around. Look at. What do you see on that screen?
I see the reflection of the lights.
That's it. Do you see any words?
No.
Okay. We need your words to paint a picture of what you saw,
Okay.
so that we'll understand. So when you say those terms of art, we want you then to break them down as to what they mean. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
You have to say yes or no?
Yes.
All right, very good. Go get some.
Thank you, Judge. Did you gather some information or were you told something as to what happened to Gabrielle?
Our notes on the way to the call stated that it was a possible drowning.
Okay. Did you, was there another adult who was related to Gabby present in the ambulance with you at the time?
The mother was in the front seat of the ambulance.
Okay, did you inquire or ask her some questions as to what happened to help you with your medical treatment?
I did.
Okay, and did you ask her at some point about the burns that you observed?
I did.
And did you get a response back?
I did.
And when did she tell you about something about when those burns occurred?
She said,
being home, I'm
Oh.
sorry.
The mother, Candace Diaz?
yes, she stated it happened the day before.
Okay. Have you dealt with burns before in your job?
I have.
Okay, in your opinion, did these burns look like they had been treated at all?
No.
And why, or what stood out to you as to why they had not been treated?
What led you to that conclusion?
They were not bandaged.
All right, did you
Well, let me
inquire?
ask you this. Have you seen burns before?
I have.
Did they appear to be, let me ask this question. In your training, can you tell the difference between something that is a new burn or an old burn? Can you tell the difference or not?
Not necessarily.
Okay, very good. Were there any whelps on on her body?
Any what?
When you get the burns and they had the little bubbles on them, was it
She did not have any blisters.
blisters?
Um,
You can tell I'm not trained in that. So what'd you say?
she didn't have any blisters because most of the skin was missing.
Okay. Now, was the skin that was missing, was it pink or was it brown like me?
It was bright red.
Bright red. Okay. Did that lead you to make any conclusion about what you were seeing? Did it look to be fresh or new or what? Or you could not make that
I
determination?
couldn't tell.
Okay, but it was red in color.
Correct.
Very good. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Councilman.
Did you stated that the nature of the run was possible drowning?
Correct.
Okay.
And did you, or was that information repeated to you from the mother, Candace Diaz, in the ambulance?
Not directly.
All right. Did you ask her about that?
I asked her when the last time she saw her was.
Okay.
What?
The last time she saw her daughter, Gabby.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, what'd she say to that?
She said it had been about 2 hours.
Okay. Did you ask her where the possible, or the circumstances surrounding the drowning at all?
What do you mean?
Did you ask her how this potential drowning happened?
Not directly.
Did she tell you anything about that?
She stated that Gabby likes to take baths. She said it wouldn't be unusual if she took one for 1 to 2 hours, and the last time she saw her was approximately 2 hours before.
Did she say that Gabby was in the bath this morning,
Yes.
before the run?
Yes.
Okay.
And that she went to make breakfast, and Gabby was in the bathtub.
Did she tell you that the symptoms for the reason that you're there for 911 being called started in the bathtub? Meaning, did she tell you that something started happening to Gabby while she was in the bathtub?
She stated that she came into the bathroom and found her face up in the bathtub.
Under the water?
She described it as her laying towards the back where the tub slopes, but that she was lower down in the water.
Okay. And then what'd she say happened after that?
She said she pulled her out of the bathtub and she was vomiting.
Did you inquire, or did she say anything about calling 911?
I believe that's when they were calling 911.
Okay. So the mother told you that something happened in the bathtub, she had slumped down, she had vomited, they pulled her out, and they called 911, and that's when you guys got there?
Correct.
All right. Did you treat Gabby for potential drowning?
Yes.
All right. At any time, were you there present when you were doing CPR? I know you said you intubated her. Is that true?
Correct, yep.
When you say intubation,
Tell us what that means.
I use, it's called laryngoscope. Goes into your airway. You can visualize the vocal cords, and then you place a breathing, it's basically a breathing tube, right into her trachea.
How do you put that down someone's throat? I'm just curious.
Well, with the special tool to look up into your airway, you can see right where it goes, and you just pass it through the vocal cords, and it goes down into the lungs,
Okay.
trachea.
And that was done with her?
Correct.
thank you, Judge. Did you notice any water when you did that in her lungs or throat or anything like
I
that?
did not.
Okay. Did you make any observations as to her fingers? Her fingertips?
Yeah, they were not consistent with someone who would have been in the bathtub for an extended period of time.
What led you to that conclusion?
Just based on taking a bath,
No.
they weren't pruned, like the pruning.
Exactly, like, okay, so when
Yeah.
you get in the bathroom,
Yeah.
that little prune that they,
Mhm.
so that wasn't like that on the fingers
Correct,
of the child?
So her fingers weren't pruned at all?
they were not.
All right. Did you try to get a core temperature?
My partner did.
And so your partner did? Okay. Nothing further, Judge.
Cross-examination!
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. You stated that in your vehicle you did treat Gabby for drowning because that's what you had been told, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you stated, based on the question you were asked by the prosecutor, that the fingers were not pruned, correct?
Correct.
Okay. What about the toes? Did you look at the toes, anything like that? The feet, anything like that?
I couldn't see the bottom of her feet from where I was.
Okay, so you had no chance to look at those areas to see if there was possible pruning there, correct?
Correct.
Now, let me ask you a question. You said you didn't have an opportunity to look at her feet. What was, when you got there, when you arrived, describe where she was and what she had on?
She was being carried out to the ambulance in a towel. She had no clothing on.
Okay, and what was the temperature like at that time?
Wintertime.
Okay, I don't know.
January 1st, it was cold and snowy.
It was cold and snowy, and so she was naked in a towel?
So she was wrapped up.
She was wrapped up in a towel,
Mhm.
okay. What about, you have to say yes or no, because.
Sorry, yes, she was in a towel.
Right. And she was naked in a towel, and, what was her color?
She was pale.
She was pale, okay. I'll go ahead.
Thank you. And you stated that she was wrapped in a towel, correct?
Correct.
Was there just one towel?
I believe so.
Okay, what part of the body was wrapped up?
Her core.
Her core?
And what's that? When you
The
say-
torso area.
Okay. So just basically say from the chest down to,
Yeah, like middle of her thigh.
To the middle of her thigh, okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
so you're not aware of whether her feet were uncovered, you're not sure?
I do not know. I can't recall.
I have no further questions.
Redirect,
Nothing, Judge.
step down, next witness. Well, I think that you heard what he said. This is the last witness for today, okay? Is that my understanding, Madam Prosecutor?
You are correct, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. And we have two tomorrow, is that my understanding?
Yes.
What did I always tell you? Hold on for a minute, witness. Even though, you know, initially I said eyewitness testimony or scientific testimony, now we're gonna remove it, okay? And these witnesses are not that long. However, it's not the quantity, okay? You know, I can start to tell, you know, how you're looking when you've had enough, all right? So we're doing very much, we're doing wonderful, and I just need to pace you, okay? Because I don't want to give you too much, because it'll be overwhelming, and then it'll be, you don't start paying attention, okay? So this is going to be our last witness. Unfortunately, I had a very big docket today. I think I had maybe 15, 20 minutes. Tomorrow, I only got 3. So we'll be able to move along. I don't know what we're going to do, but however, I will indicate that the lead prosecutor in this particular matter celebrates a holiday on Wednesday, and we will not be going. So we're going to do what we can on Tuesday. I'm more than optimistic that we will be getting the people's case done, which means that we will, as indicated, the defendant does not have to present any witnesses, and he is innocent until you say otherwise, okay? So he does not have to prove himself innocent. He is innocent right now. So if they're going to have any witnesses, we'll know. I'm anticipating Thursday, we're going to do closing, and then we'll go straight to and being instructed. I'm anticipating having everything done by 12:30. You know, that'll be your last lunch together. 2 of you will be dismissed, and you'll begin your deliberation. That's what I'm anticipating. Now, will it go that way? I don't know, okay, but that's what I just want you all to have an understanding of where we're gonna go, okay? So we gotta let employers know, Judge Evans, is not going on Wednesday for that reason. Step forward, sir. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm testimony you're about to give this man the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so yeah. Please be seated. Turn your chair toward the judges of the facts, sir. Yes. Now sit back. Now pull that microphone like it's touching your lips. State your name for the record.
Leo Girard.
Okay, you may be spelling first and last, sir.
Leogirard.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Lieutenant Girard, what's your occupation
I am a police officer.
and your rank?
I am a detective lieutenant.
You've got to keep your voice up, really.
I apologize.
Okay, thank you so much.
Detective lieutenant.
And what police department do you work for?
I work for the Huron Township Police Department.
How long have you been an officer for?
I'm in my 20th year.
20th year. Have you been with Huron Township the entire 20 years?
Yes, I have.
All right. And I guess I'll just ask you, what is your involvement with the investigation of the death of Gabrielle Barrett?
I ran forensic dump of the Mr. Diaz and Miss Diaz and Mr. Fields' cell phones.
Okay, so you're a forensic analyst of cell phones?
Yes,
All right. Have you gotten some training for that?
I do, yes.
And where'd you get your training from?
I got my training from NCFI in Alabama, National Computer Forensics Institute.
That's what I was going to ask. Defense counsel, do you have any stipulation and qualification for forensic analysts of cell phones?
No stipulation.
Move for the admission as this witness is an expert.
Any objection?
No.
Okay, very good. So the court is going to, he's going to be qualified as an expert in the field of
Forensic analyzing cell phones.
forensic analyzing cell phones.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you. You said that you did 2 cell phones in
But
this
wait a
case?
minute, and what I indicate to you, you can give his testimony whatever way you choose to. Okay, but he can testify and give his opinion as an expert in the area. You may proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. And you said that you did forensic analyzing of 2 cell phones in this matter?
I was given 2 cell phones, so I can only analyze one.
And who brought you those cell phones? Do you remember?
I believe it was Officer Belowski of Sumter Police Department.
Okay. And do you remember the 2 cell phones, what type of phones they were?
I believe they were LG X-Powers.
What?
LG being the make and then X-Power being the model of cell phone.
Like an iPhone?
Smartphones.
It's called X-phone?
X-Power is the model of an LG cell phone.
Okay, it's an LG, it's
Yes.
not LG. Okay,
Yes.
I got you, okay.
Judge, I just talked to defense counsel in lieu of a bunch of questionings. Defense counsel is going to stipulate that the 2 phones that this officer forensically analyzed were People's Exhibit 138 and 140, which had been previously admitted as defendant Brad Fields' cell phone and Candace Diaz's
Is
cell
that a
phone.
correct stipulation?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay,
Alright.
very good, the court is accepted for such.
And as part of your analyzing of those cell phones, do you get a report or create a big report about what's contained on those cell phones?
Yes, the software through Celebrite creates a report in both PDF, Excel format.
What sort of information do you get off of that report?
The report documents the information about the cell phone, its subscriber information, times and dates of text messages, cellular calls incoming, outgoing, cell tower information, emails if they're on the phone itself.
Okay, tell the judges of the facts how you do it.
How I come about the information?
Right.
Okay, so I used on these 2 phones something called Celebrite,
Okay.
physical analyzer.
So if this is a cell phone, what do you do to the cell phone?
That's an Apple cell phone versus the cell phone that we used in this case is a Samsung or Android
Okay, so what
phone.
do you do to it?
The phone itself is left in an on state, but turned into a Wi-Fi off mode or airplane off mode. So nothing can come or go from the phone itself out to the network or through Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or cellular data. Then we go in and we change a few settings to allow the computer or the cell phone to connect with the hardware that Celebrite gives. And basically it just asks for a backup of what's on the cell phone. And it gives what it feels we can get to be simplistic.
So if something were deleted, say someone sent me a text and I deleted that, can you recover that with your apparatus?
There's no simple answer to that. Cellular technology is slightly different than computer technology. If you delete a message from your cell phone, it's set aside. The cell phone itself will dictate on its own terms when it comes by and deletes that information. It's automatically created, it's automatically set aside to be used if it needs the space, but the phone itself decides if it's going to delete it completely today, tomorrow, a week from now. So some messages are retrievable and some are not.
Okay, very good, okay.
So, to finish that up, if you delete something and it puts it in a type of memory that the phone knows to override when it needs something else to write over it?
At first, and then it'll come by and garbage collect and just delete it completely.
And that
So
changes?
you don't know, never know when that'll happen?
You do not.
All right. Were you able to, I'll talk about Candace Diaz's phone, that's the LG phone, People's 138. Were you able to forensically analyze this cell phone?
Yes, I was.
And were you able to create a backup of that phone through your Celebrite software?
I was. It created a logical backup.
Okay, and were you able to, based upon that, create a larger report that had sub-reports in it about what was on that cell phone?
Yes, I was.
Okay, I'm going to approach and show you what's been previously marked as People's 88. What you're looking at right now is that, well, I want you to look through it first so that you're...
Take your time, just take your time and review the document, let them give you an opportunity. Let's stand up and take a stretch break. You may be seated. Let us know when you finish reviewing it. Just take your time, sir.
Okay, so this is marked page 1 through 9 of an extraction report from Celebrite reports. I do recognize several of the photos as ones that I've seen in the extraction from Ms. Diaz's report.
Okay. I'm going to, at this point, Judge, I'm going to move for the admission of People's 88.
Any objection?
No objection.
First, I'll receive it.
All right. Well, actually, you better just hold on to this guy. As part of that, you just stated that this report contains photos and videos that you've extracted from Ms. Diaz's cell phone. Is that correct?
One second, sir.
No.
Just get,
Yes.
All right. I want to direct your attention to, and it looks like each one, there's a number, and then it gives you either the image or the video gives you some information about each one of those photographs or videos. Would that be accurate?
Yes, it does, which is what I was just checking, because you had listed video, but since they're just screenshots, I wanted to make sure that they were listed as an MP4 and not a JPEG.
All right. But when you get to page 6, number 20, the previous 19 under images, you would agree that one goes to video, correct? And that's as an MP4?
Appears yes.
All right. All right, I want to direct your attention to what is number 13 on your report. number 13, is that a photograph or an image or a video?
That is a JPEG image,
That's a photograph?
a photograph, yes.
All right. When you create a dump or when your program does this, does it give you information about photographs from their metadata?
It does, yes.
Okay.
And
And
what's that?
Metadata is the information that the camera itself takes when it takes the photograph. It usually consists of the make of the camera, when we're dealing with cell phones, the make of the camera, the model of the camera. Sometimes if people have it turned on, they'll have the GPS location, GPS coordinates, pixel count,
Okay.
all of the old f-stop, aperture, all that stuff is sometimes contained in there as well.
all right. And were you able, or were you or your report or your software, I suppose, able to get some information from the metadata as it relates to image number 13?
Yeah, it's showing that it was taken on the LG S755, which is the numerical model number for the X Power. And the date and time is showing for that image 11/7/17 at 9:34:07 p.m. And the captured date is also reflected in the image name itself, 20171107.
Okay. And I know you said, and I just want to make sure we didn't gloss over it, you said that the camera model was an LG LS755,
Yes, sir.
and was that the same phone as the one you were dumping, Ms. Diaz's phone?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I want to approach and hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 82. Is that the same image, that image 13 we're talking about right there? That's the same photograph?
Yes, it is.
All right. Move for the admission of, I better get the right number here. I believe it's People's 82.
No objection.
All right.
Court is seated.
Thank you. And you said that based upon your analysis of that phone, you could determine that from the metadata that photograph was taken on November 7th.
That is the date shown, and as I said, it's backed up with the image, the file name, which is given the date of the photo by default in the phone itself.
And that's the same date as November 7th?
Yes.
All right. I want to direct your attention to image 14. I want you to just look through these since we're going to do this quickly. 14, 15, and 16, if you can look at all three of those.
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to hand you what's previously been marked as People's 83, 84, and 85. I'll take back 82 from you. I'm going to go ahead and publish 82 on the screen. All right, if you look through those three photos that I've handed to you as
Yes,
well?
I have.
All right. Are those three photos the same photographs that are contained on your report, number 14, 15, and 16?
They are.
All right, I'll move for the admission of People's Exhibits 83, 84, and 85.
Any objection?
No objection.
Court is so received. Can we zero in? Can you,
Yes, I'm going to move it here.
okay, please?
So this is, on the photograph, this is 82. So make sure I can zoom up a little bit so the jury can see that.
Judges of the facts, can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
That's 82. I'm going to go over to 83 here.
Zoom. Wait a minute, what's depicted there, sir? Can you see it? Can the judges of the facts see it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go over to 84. And we'll go to 85. still have those photographs?
I do, sir.
As part of this, you're able to, I want to direct your attention to number 21 on that same report. What can you tell me? Have you reviewed that really briefly here? Or do you need a minute?
I have.
Okay. What can you tell me about 21 on your report?
It is listed as an MP4. It is being stored in the media internal storage DCIM camera/20, and its file name is 2017-120600.mp4. It is showing as a created date of 12/24/17 at 8:07:26, which again matches its file name.
Okay, when you say MP4, what does that mean to you?
MP4 is a file for movies, streaming video.
Okay, so it's a video.
It's a video.
All right. And you said that was, you found that on the internal storage DCIM camera directory?
Yes, it's a directory that most phones default video storage to and cell phone pictures to.
So is that on a phone, if you take a photo and it goes to your camera roll, is that the directory typically where that image would be going to?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to move for the admission of People's 97, that video.
Any objection?
No objection.
Order so received it.
We go ahead and publish this at this point. Find it.
Is
Open
there,
it.
So you know you gotta keep Dorsey and just give her no bottle and all. They cut her the fuck off. And she's gonna have no choice. You know, sorry, what do you think? That's what they had to do with Hazel. I had a conversation with Christine about that, and I flew out that one day. And this is the main thing she loves to eat out of. The fruits, the little nut thing. She's like, yeah, that's all Hazel would eat at first too, was a little nut thing like that. Just so you know, they went through hell at first too. She looks at me, she's like, she's still on a bottle? She shouldn't be on a bottle. I'm like, it's all that I would give her, man. She won't take care of it. I'm trying to explain all that. She's like,
Her weight
she's all
limit.
smaller. She thinks you had her 3 months early. I'm like, no. She had her a month early. She wasn't growing inside her for 3 months.
She was in growing inside me for a month. Keep opening it. Get all the wrapping paper off. Who is it? Who is it though? Who is it? What doll is it? It's Beauty and the Beast, that's Belle. Go give Brad a hug. That's what he got you. Tell him thank you.
Just so the jury's aware, line item number 24 on your report there, is that a video as well?
Yes, it's shown as video as well.
Okay. And that, you can see a thumbnail photograph there?
Yes.
now what's that?
That is people's exhibits.
Excuse me,
My apologies.
what is a thumbnail photo?
A thumbnail photo is a stripped down version of the picture, so your hardware, software can categorize and find it quickly without having to download an entire photo. So pretty much every picture that you take on your phone is, thumbnail is made of it for cataloging purposes.
Okay, I have an iPhone, okay? And there's an area where it's just a round picture of me, one of my daughter, and it's not, don't show the whole thing, just show our little faces. And then you click it, and then it goes to all the pictures like that. Is that a thumbnail?
No, that's most likely just taking a portion of a picture and using it for the purpose of setting a contact. A thumbnail is probably just a few bytes. It's taking an image and just shrinking it down to almost nothing, so it takes up no space but catalogs the actual picture.
So you can't actually see it, the owner of the phone? You can't see a thumbnail?
You can, but you can't see it very well. And it might put you, if you were to pull it up on a screen, it's only going to be postage size stamp versus an actual real photograph.
Okay, very good, go ahead.
Thank you.
And what's the purpose of that thumbnail?
Cataloging. It
What's
allows
that
it.
mean? Tell us what.
It allows the computer to, say if you had 3,000 photographs on your computer screen, for it to go through each photograph to locate what you're looking for could take a while. So it's just a way for the computer to say, all right, this picture exists and it's located here. It's kind of like an index.
Okay.
In a thumbnail for a video, would that typically be the first frame of that video, the first photograph of that video?
It is usually, yes.
And that thumbnail is kind of, if you're flipping through your camera roll of videos, the little image that you see for that video, is that the thumbnail?
Yes.
All right. And just so the jury's aware, People's Exhibit that's already been admitted, 98, that's line number 24 played on this. I'm not going to play that whole video again, but I just want to put that still frame up for the jury to make clear that this is the People's 98 that's on the screen. That's the first still frame. That is that extended version from the Facebook 128. That's what has come off this phone.
Is that correct stipulation?
That is correct. We simulate it's better.
Okay, very good.
All right. Now I also want to ask you about text messages. Are you able to get text messages in your analysis of phones?
Yes, text messages do often come up.
Okay. And were you able, and when you get the text messages through Cellbrite, does Cellbrite allow you to go through and categorize reports based upon who the recipient of that text message was with that phone?
Yes, you can search by telephone numbers, giving incoming and outgoing.
I'll just ask. Move for the admission of People's 146, which is the SMS. What does SMS mean?
SMS is,
Are those the text messages?
they're messages outside of simple text messages, or I'm sorry, it's a simple message service. SMS means that it was just simple text going back and forth, nothing but text conversation between two people.
Move for the admission of 146 at this point.
No.
Any objection?
No.
Court so received.
146 is the SMS conversations between a cell phone 734-787-4425 with the distinguishing name or name assigned to that as baby, B-A-B-Y-Y-Y, and then a greater than symbol, a 3 with an asterisk that ends up looking like a heart. We'll publish those at a later date. Were you able to, this was all for the phone People's Exhibit 138 for Candace Diaz. Were you able to try an extraction on Exhibit 140, the phone attributed to Brad Fields?
Not the phone itself, no.
And did you find anything out about that phone when you tried to do that?
Yes, the phone was in a boot mode loop trying to continue its resetting of itself.
When you say boot mode, what do you mean?
Everybody's turned on their cell phone and gone through the progression where it shows the subscriber screen, the T-Mobile splash screen, and then moves forward into the rest. If you recall, when you first turned on that phone, it asked you a few questions like, do you want to be in English? Can it connect to a Wi-Fi to continue your stuff? Your first boot, it was going through that progression.
Are you talking the initial setup?
Yes.
Like the first time you'd ever gotten that phone?
Yes.
Does that mean anything to you? Are you be able to determine anything about that?
Yes, it to me means that the phone was reset, factory reset.
What's that mean?
somebody either through software or by physically manipulating the phone, reset the phone to delete all of its contents and bring it back to a day one stage. Got rid of everything deleted everything on the phone.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Councilman.
So because that phone had been reset or deleted, you were not able to get any data off of that People's Exhibit 140, the defendant Brad Fields' cell phone?
Yes, it did not even try.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
The software that you were talking about, you said it was called Celebrate, is that correct?
Celebrite is the maker.
Maker.
Physical Analyzer by Celebrite is the software that's used.
Very well. So this is the software that you use and you received some sort of training, I'm assuming, to use that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you were discussing attempting to get information from the cell phone that you recognized or said was belonged to Candace Diaz, first thing you do, you said you go into airplane mode, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then once it's in airplane mode, then you actually go into the phone and you start changing some of the settings, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's something you can do, and then that way you can search for the information you're searching for, correct?
So the hardware and software can search for it.
Very well. And you stated that deleted messages, I believe this was based on a question that the judge asked, that when messages are deleted, some of them are retrievable and some of them are not, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And then there were some images, there was a video, some things that the prosecutor went through with you on the screen. Each of those pictures and that video, that was all from Candace Diaz's phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you stated when you were talking about the, with Brad Fields' phone, you referred to something as the Bootloader Loop, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in your explanation, you had stated when I turn on my phone, say I've had it off for a couple hours and I turn it on, there's a boot mode that it goes through each time, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Redirect.
I just want to make for clarification that boot mode that defense counsel was just bringing up, that's different than the boot mode that you were seeing this time?
Yeah, so your phone boots up every single time, goes through its progression into a splash screen, picks up the network, and then moves forward. Ms. Diaz's phone was turned over to me in a state it was turned on. It was actually on, so I was able to, and given the passcode to it. So I had a passcode to go into the phone, put it into airplane mode to run it. If the phone's not in airplane mode, it can receive and remove information. Mr. Fields' phone was turned over to me in an off state. So at that point, I had to put it into a Faraday box. A Faraday box is a specially designed piece of equipment that stops the phone from getting or receiving or sending any information via Bluetooth, cellular, or Wi-Fi. Okay, it's kind of like puts it in its own prison. Just like a sandblasting booth, it's got two gloves to go in and manipulate inside of the box. You turn the phone on in that environment so it can't get any type of signal to delete itself. There's software out there that can delete a phone through remote text messages, things of that nature. So when you don't know what the phone is like when you first start it, it goes into that box to turn it on first, which I did. As I turned the phone on, it can't reach a network, and as your phones, you guys might have done on vacation or something along those lines, you turn it on, it'll still go through the splash screen, but then after it's all done and you get your normal desktop up or the phone's normal view, it'll just say no network available, correct? So this phone went into its original setting to where it's asking to be connected to a network to continue. Actually, I believe the term was your phone is ready to finish formatting. So it had been reset. And you asked about the extraction. I was not able to complete an extraction on the cell phone itself, but the SD card was removed, and I attempted to extract data from that as well.
All right, thank you. I don't have anything further, Judge.
Okay. Sit down. Step down, sir. Thank you. Very good. Next witness.
No further physical witnesses at this point.
Very good. Okay, we've done a lot.
Judge, I suppose just one quick stipulation into admission of evidence might be a good idea at this point. I have medical records for St. Joseph Mercy. That's for January 1st, 2018 for patient Gabrielle Barrett with the attending physician of Dr. Daniel McGillicuddy. That's McGillicuddy. These are the medical records for Gabrielle Barrett after being dropped off by the ambulance at St. Joseph's. I'll move for the admission right now. I believe defense counsel will stipulate to their admission.
So stipulated.
Court is so received.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. We've done a lot today. I'm sorry.
Oh, my apologies. I need a number. 146, I believe.
No.
That'd be 147.
Very good.
148. No.
Okay, very good. So the court is so received. Okay, very good. We've done enough today. I've been told that we have two witnesses from.
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct. And the people
And the nature of the, one is a medical examiner and the other?
would be the officer in charge, Detective Poe.
Okay, very good. We're moving right along very well. Do you understand that? Okay?
Yes.
So there's a great likelihood that tomorrow we're gonna be done pretty early. All right? What did I tell you? The defendant will not have to call any witnesses or present any witnesses. But there will come a chance when we'll have an opportunity after the people rest and determined. All rise for the jury. Stop when you're ready to go in the room. Have a great evening.